Before you go to bed tonight, there is something crucial you must remember. It's not just about brushing your teeth or setting your alarm, it's something much more important, something that directly affects the strength, performance, and long-term health of your brain. Most people don't realize that the hours before sleep are the most critical for brain function, repair, and development. According to leading doctors and neuroscientists, your evening routine can make or break your cognitive abilities over time. If you forget this one key thing before bed, you may unknowingly sabotage your brain's ability to recover, grow, and maintain its power. And once your brain begins to weaken, everything else, your memory, your focus, your energy, even your mood, starts to crumble. Every night, while you sleep, your brain goes into a powerful healing and cleaning cycle. It clears out toxins, balances hormones, consolidates memories, and prepares your mind for the challenges of the next day. But there's a catch. This entire process depends on what you do just before sleep. Your pre-sleep routine acts like a signal to your brain. If you feed it the right signals, your brain responds with energy, clarity, and mental resilience. If you send the wrong signals, or forget to send any at all, your brain suffers silently, night after night, losing strength bit by bit. One of the biggest mistakes people make is going to bed with a cluttered mind, whether it's anxiety, stress, scrolling endlessly on your phone, or jumping from one thought to another. A chaotic mind disrupts the brain's natural ability to shift into deep, restorative sleep. And without deep sleep, your brain doesn't have the opportunity to recharge. Over time, this leads to brain fog, forgetfulness, mental fatigue, and even early signs of cognitive decline. Doctors warn that if you constantly fall asleep with stress in your body and chaos in your thoughts, your brain's structure begins to change. The hippocampus, the area responsible for memory, shrinks. The prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for decision-making, becomes less active, and your emotional centers become overactive, making you more reactive and less stable. So what is the one thing you must not forget before sleep? It's simple but profound. You must prepare your brain to rest, reset, and regenerate. This preparation starts with conscious choices in the final hour before bed. Turn off screens, phones, computers, TVs. The blue light emitted by these devices confuses your brain, making it think it's still daytime. It blocks the release of melatonin, the sleep hormone, and delays your ability to enter deep sleep. Even worse, the constant flow of information overstimulates your brain, keeping it in a state of hyperarousal when it should be winding down. Instead, embrace calm. Let your evening be a time of stillness, not stimulation. Doctors recommend creating a relaxing bedtime ritual, something you do every night that tells your brain, it's time to power down. This could be deep breathing, meditation, reading a calming book, or even a warm shower. These small acts have a profound impact on the nervous system. They lower cortisol levels, stabilize heart rate, and allow the brain to ease into sleep mode. If you forget to do this, you may find yourself tossing and turning, or worse, sleeping lightly, and waking up still exhausted. Another vital part of brain preparation is releasing the emotional weight of the day. Doctors emphasize that going to bed with unresolved anger, fear, or frustration keeps the brain in a protective, defensive state. The limbic system stays activated, which means your brain remains on guard even while you sleep. You might have dreams that are chaotic or stressful, and your brain won't be able to fully relax into the deep stages it needs. The solution: practice emotional release. You don't need hours of therapy, just a few minutes of honest reflection. Sit quietly, think about your day. Acknowledge the stress, then breathe it out. Say to yourself, I let go, I am safe, I am done for today. This simple mental exercise is like pressing the reset button. It gives your brain permission to rest and restore. Doctors also advise paying attention to what you eat and drink before bed. Heavy meals, caffeine, and alcohol disrupt brain function during sleep. While alcohol might make you drowsy, it prevents the brain from entering REM sleep, the stage where dreams occur and memory is processed. Caffeine can linger in your system for hours, keeping your brain alert when it should be winding down. And heavy late-night meals force your body to stay active in digestion, pulling resources away from your brain's nightly maintenance. If you want to strengthen your brain, give it the fuel and conditions it needs. Eat light in the evening, hydrate gently, and avoid stimulants. One of the most overlooked pre-sleep practices is gratitude. Neuroscience has proven that gratitude shifts brain chemistry. When you take time to reflect on what you're thankful for, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the feel-good neurotransmitter. This not only improves your mood, but also sets your brain into a state of safety and contentment, which is essential for deep rest. A grateful brain sleeps better, repairs faster, and wakes up more refreshed. So before bed, ask yourself, what went well today? What am I thankful for? Even small things count. A smile, a meal, a kind word. These thoughts act like a balm for the brain, soothing away the stress and tension of the day. Movement also plays a hidden role. While intense workouts right before sleep are not recommended, light stretching or yoga can be deeply beneficial. Gentle movement helps release tension from the muscles and signals to the brain that the day is coming to a close. It improves circulation, aids in lymphatic drainage, and helps the body prepare for restful sleep. If you skip this, you may carry physical tightness into bed, which can lead to restless tossing and waking up sore or stiff. The brain and body are deeply connected. What you do for one affects the other. And let's not forget the power of silence. In a world full of noise, silence before sleep is a healing gift. Turn off the TV. Put your phone on silent. Let your environment become quiet. This quietness allows your mind to turn inward. It makes space for your thoughts to settle and your breath to deepen. Doctors believe that consistent nighttime silence improves sleep quality, reduces inflammation, and promotes emotional stability. Your brain craves quiet time to process and recover from the noise of the day. Without it, the mind remains overactive, even during sleep. Your sleeping environment also matters more than you might think. A cool, dark, and clean bedroom is essential. The brain is sensitive to light and temperature. If your room is too bright, melatonin production drops. If it's too warm, your body struggles to reach the temperature it needs for deep sleep. If it's cluttered or noisy, your brain receives signals of stress or danger. Treat your bedroom like a sanctuary. Dim the lights an hour before bed. Use blackout curtains. Remove distractions. The better your environment supports your sleep, the stronger your brain becomes. Now here's the final piece doctors emphasize: consistency. The brain thrives on rhythm and routine. Going to bed at the same time every night trains your circadian clock, your body's internal timekeeper. When you follow a consistent schedule, your brain begins to anticipate sleep, making it easier to fall asleep quickly and deeply. But if your sleep time is irregular, one night at 10 p.m., another at 1 a.m., your circadian rhythm gets confused. This leads to poor sleep, grogginess, and mental burnout. It's not just about how long you sleep, it's about when and how consistent. So don't forget this before sleep. Prepare your brain, protect your brain, prioritize your brain, because your future depends on the strength of your mind. Whether you're young or aging, busy or retired, your brain is your most powerful tool and it needs care every night. Think of your pre-sleep routine not as a chore, but as a ritual of self-respect, a signal that you value your mental clarity, your memory, your emotional balance. The people who age well, think clearly, and live joyfully into old age. They don't leave their brain health to chance. They take a few minutes every night to do what matters. So tonight, before you close your eyes, take a deep breath, put down the phone, let go of the day, embrace stillness, give thanks, and remember, you have the power to protect your brain every single night. Every night as you sleep, your brain embarks on a powerful journey of repair, detoxification, and regeneration. While you may think of sleep as a passive activity, it's actually one of the most active and important processes for your brain's long-term health. What many people don't realize is that the hour before sleep plays a massive role in how effectively the brain can carry out this recovery process. What you do, or fail to do before you close your eyes, can either support or sabotage your brain's ability to heal, grow, and stay sharp. Doctors and neuroscientists agree. Pre-sleep habits are not just a matter of routine, they're the foundation of mental strength and clarity. During sleep, especially in the deep and REM stages, your brain is doing far more than just resting. It's flushing out harmful toxins through a process known as the glymphatic system. This internal cleaning crew clears away metabolic waste that builds up during the day, waste that, if not removed, has been linked to memory loss, cognitive decline, and even neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. But here's the catch: the effectiveness of this system is influenced by how you wind down. If you fall asleep under stress, staring at a screen, or mentally scattered, Your brain doesn't shift easily into the deep stages of sleep where this crucial detox process happens. Think of your pre-sleep routine as a signal, a code you send to your brain. A healthy routine helps your brain know it's safe to begin the healing process. But when you bombard your mind with stimulation, whether it's scrolling through social media, binge-watching content, or worrying about tomorrow's tasks, you keep your brain in a state of alertness. This heightened activity blocks the smooth transition into deep sleep and ultimately weakens the brain's nightly repair work. You might have noticed that some nights you sleep for 8 hours and still feel tired the next day. That's because it's not just the amount of sleep that matters, it's the quality. And quality is determined largely by what you do before you fall asleep. For example, if you eat a heavy meal, drink caffeine or alcohol, or expose yourself to blue light, your brain remains in a semi-alert state. Even if you're unconscious, your brain isn't able to enter the deeper healing sleep cycles it needs. As a result, the next day you feel mentally foggy, your focus slips, your creativity is dulled, and your emotional resilience drops. On the flip side, if you cultivate calm in the hour before bed, you trigger powerful responses in your brain. Breathing deeply, stretching gently, reading a calming book, or simply sitting in silence lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and increases melatonin, the sleep hormone. These changes allow your brain to slide more smoothly into deep sleep, where real restoration happens. In this state, your brain repairs neurons, balances neurotransmitters, consolidates memories, and resets emotional circuits. And it's not just physical and chemical repair. Emotionally and psychologically, the brain also processes your day during sleep. It sorts through experiences, files away memories, and lets go of mental clutter. But if you don't create mental space before bed, your brain carries the weight of unresolved thoughts into the night. You might dream restlessly, or wake up multiple times. This interrupts the sleep cycles and leaves your brain half-finished in its work. That's why doctors stress the importance of intentional wind-down time. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Even just 20-30 minutes of quiet, screen-free, mindful activity before bed can dramatically boost your brain's ability to detox and regenerate. Think of it as brushing your brain the same way you brush your teeth, part of a simple daily practice to maintain health and strength. Ultimately, your brain depends on you to give it the conditions it needs to thrive. A strong, sharp, and resilient brain isn't built just through diet or exercise. It's forged in the quiet hours of the night, especially when you prepare it properly. Each night you have a chance to either support or weaken this process. And once you understand how powerful your pre-sleep habits truly are, you'll never look at bedtime the same way again. Every single night, your brain needs one thing above all else: peace. Not just sleep, not just time away from work or screens, but true mental calm. Yet most people unknowingly carry stress, emotional clutter, and overstimulation into their sleep, and this habit quietly chips away at brain function over time. It's easy to ignore because the damage isn't immediate. You might still fall asleep, still wake up, still function during the day, but the brain remembers. The cost of unresolved emotions and overstimulation before bed shows up in subtle but serious ways, through forgetfulness, poor concentration, emotional instability, and eventually, cognitive decline. Your brain is not a machine that simply shuts off when you close your eyes. In fact, it becomes incredibly active during sleep. One of its primary tasks is to organize and file your memories, regulate your emotions, and reset your nervous system. But when you go to bed with mental clutter, worrying thoughts, stress about tomorrow, regrets from the day, anger that hasn't been processed, your brain remains in a state of tension. Instead of gliding into deep restorative sleep, it gets stuck in light, fragmented stages. The very repair work it's designed to do gets interrupted, and the longer this goes on, the more strain builds up inside your cognitive system. This is especially damaging to two key parts of your brain, the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex. The hippocampus is responsible for creating and storing memories. When you sleep with a calm mind, it processes information smoothly, helping you retain what you've learned and making your thinking clearer the next day. But when the brain is overstimulated at night, the hippocampus can't work efficiently. That's when you start forgetting names, misplacing things, or blanking out during conversations. Over time, this part of the brain can actually shrink, making memory issues more persistent. Then there's the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making, focus, and emotional control. This region requires deep rest to function at its best. Without that rest, your ability to concentrate drops, your decisions become more impulsive, and your tolerance for stress decreases. Have you ever noticed that you're more irritable or impatient after a restless night? That's your prefrontal cortex struggling. Without mental calm before bed, it never gets the full recovery it needs. And it's not just about stress or emotions, screens, notifications, endless scrolling. These forms of mental clutter are just as damaging. The blue light from your phone or TV delays the release of melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. But more than that, the information overload keeps your brain alert and overstimulated. It has to keep processing new data, switching attention, reacting to visual. By the time you actually try to sleep, your brain is still in work mode. It can't simply flip a switch and shut off. That's why you lie there thinking, rethinking, spinning in loops. This constant stimulation trains your nervous system to stay on high alert, even during sleep. As a result, your body may be still, but your brain is restless. You might have vivid or chaotic dreams, wake up often during the night, or feel drained in the morning, despite a full 8 hours. This is what happens when the brain never fully disengages from mental clutter. It may seem like a minor inconvenience now, but doctors warn that over time, this pattern leads to chronic fatigue, mental fog, burnout, and even early cognitive aging. The good news is that your brain is incredibly responsive. Just a few small intentional changes before bed can make a powerful difference. Instead of scrolling through social media, take a few minutes to breathe deeply. Instead of replaying arguments or stressing about your to-do list, sit in silence and focus on letting go. Your brain responds quickly to signals of safety and calm. When you slow your breathing, dim your lights, or stretch gently, you're telling your brain it's okay to relax now. And when it feels safe, it begins the deep work of healing, strengthening, and restoring itself. Even something as simple as writing down your thoughts or practicing gratitude can reduce mental clutter significantly. Studies show that journaling helps offload worries from the brain, clearing up space for gratitude. On the other hand, shifts your brain chemistry, releasing dopamine and serotonin, which naturally calm the nervous system. These practices don't take long, but they set a clear boundary between the noise of the day and the peace of the night. What matters most is consistency. A calm mind before bed is not something you try once. It's something you practice daily. Over time, your brain begins to recognize the routine and adapts accordingly. You fall asleep faster, sleep more deeply, and wake up more refreshed. Your thoughts become clearer, your memory sharper, and your emotions more balanced. In short, your brain becomes stronger. Mental clutter is the silent enemy of brain health, and bedtime is its favorite hiding place. But when you learn to clear the mental space before sleep, when you take that time to truly disconnect, unwind, and let go, you protect your brain in the most powerful way possible. You give it the rest it truly needs, and in return, it gives you clarity, focus, and resilience that lasts for a lifetime. Each night, as the world quiets down and your body prepares for rest, your brain enters one of the most important healing phases of your life. It's during these hours of sleep that your brain repairs itself, detoxifies harmful waste, consolidates memories, and restores your emotional balance. But there's something most people overlook. How you transition from a busy day into sleep has a huge impact on the quality of your rest, and ultimately, your brain health. Doctors have found that one of the most powerful ways to support brain strength over time is by creating a nightly ritual, a deliberate routine that signals to your brain that it's safe to rest, recover, and rebuild. Without a nightly wind-down ritual, your brain is often left in a state of confusion. After hours of stimulation, constant scrolling, decision-making, noise, and stress, the mind doesn't automatically know it's time to power down. If you go from an overstimulating activity straight into bed, your brain stays alert, scanning for input, reviewing the day's events, worrying about tomorrow. You may fall asleep physically, but mentally, your brain remains active, interrupting the deep sleep cycles needed for restoration. This habit can lead to chronic fatigue, poor focus, mood swings, and eventually damage your long-term cognitive health. This is where the idea of a sleep ritual comes in, not as a luxury, but as a tool for survival in a high-stimulus world. A nightly ritual works by gently shifting your nervous system from the active, adrenaline-fueled state of the day into the calm, healing mode required for sleep. This transition doesn't happen automatically, it must be guided, and the most effective way to guide it is through predictable, calming behaviors done consistently at the same time each night. Deep breathing is one of the simplest and most powerful tools to include in this ritual. When you breathe deeply and slowly, especially using techniques like box breathing or 4-7-8 breathing, you trigger your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body responsible for rest and digestion. This lowers your heart rate, reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, and sends a signal to your brain that it's time to let go. Within minutes, your mind begins to calm, thoughts slow down, and your brain starts preparing for sleep. Light stretching is another highly effective addition to your bedtime routine. After a full day of sitting, standing, or moving, your body often holds tension in places you don't even notice: your shoulders, neck, hips, and back. Gentle stretches help release that tension, improve blood flow, and bring awareness to your physical body, which naturally grounds the mind. It also reduces the risk of waking up with stiffness or discomfort and allows your body to relax more fully during sleep. When your body relaxes, your brain follows. Reading is another classic, yet highly underrated bedtime ritual. The key is to choose content that's calm, inspiring, or neutral, not intense news articles or thrilling fiction that might stimulate your emotions. Reading a physical book rather than using a phone or tablet avoids blue light exposure, which disrupts melatonin production. As you read, your brain gradually detaches from the day's stress and becomes immersed in a single stream of thought, helping reduce mental chatter and easing the transition into sleep. Another valuable practice is taking a warm shower or bath about an hour before bed. This not only helps wash away the physical residue of the day, but also regulates your core body temperature. Interestingly, the drop in temperature after stepping out of a warm bath actually mimics the natural temperature shift your body goes through when falling asleep. It signals to the brain that it's bedtime. The warmth also relaxes your muscles and calms your nervous system, further supporting the shift into sleep mode. The effectiveness of a sleep ritual doesn't lie in any single activity, but in the consistency and intention behind it. The human brain thrives on patterns. When you perform the same relaxing actions each night, your brain begins to recognize the sequence. It learns to associate those activities with safety, calm, and sleep. Over time, your body responds more quickly, you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up more refreshed. You're training your brain to rest deeply, and in doing so, you're preserving its strength, clarity, and resilience. A powerful sleep ritual also includes emotional closure. Unresolved thoughts, conflicts, or stressors from the day can linger in your mind and prevent quality rest. Taking a few moments to journal, practice gratitude, or reflect silently can help release these mental burdens. Even a few deep breaths, and the conscious thought, "I've done my best today, it's time to rest now," can reset your emotional state. When the brain is no longer trying to process or fix problems before sleep, it is free to enter deeper, more restorative phases. Doctors emphasize that these small practices, when repeated consistently, create a profound compounding effect. Night after night, your brain becomes more efficient at shutting down when needed, entering deeper stages of sleep more quickly, and performing the vital repair processes it was designed to do. Over time, this can enhance memory, improve focus, elevate your mood, and protect your brain from age-related decline. In contrast, skipping this wind-down period repeatedly leaves your brain overstimulated, under-rested, and gradually more vulnerable to stress, burnout, and fatigue. Creating a nightly ritual doesn't require hours of effort. Just 20-30 minutes of intentional winding down, free of screens and full of calm, is enough to make a noticeable difference. It's not about perfection, it's about passion. In a world where distractions never sleep, giving your brain a consistent routine to recover is one of the smartest and most powerful health decisions you can make. Your future self will thank you for every night you took the time to slow down, breathe deeply, and prepare your brain for true restoration. Each night, your brain depends on the environment you create and the choices you make to enter a state of deep rest, healing, and restoration. While many people focus only on sleep duration, science reveals that sleep quality is just as, if not more important, and that quality is deeply influenced by what you consume and how you set up your space before bed. Your environment, your lighting, the noise around you, and especially what you eat or drink in the hours before sleep, all send signals to your brain. These signals either support your brain's ability to recharge and detoxify, or disrupt its critical nighttime functions. What seems like a small habit, such as a late cup of tea, an extra helping at dinner, or checking your phone under bright light, can have a much bigger impact than most people realize. Let's begin with caffeine. Found not only in coffee but also in tea, chocolate, energy drinks, and even some medications, caffeine is a stimulant that can linger in your system for up to 8 to 10 hours. Many people assume that if they drink coffee in the afternoon, it's long gone by bedtime. But your body may still be metabolizing it late into the evening, silently keeping your brain on alert. Even if you manage to fall asleep, caffeine can reduce your amount of deep sleep, which is the phase where your brain does most of its healing. This means you might sleep for 8 hours, but still wake up feeling foggy, unfocused, or irritated. And the cycle continues when you reach for more caffeine the next day to compensate, never fully allowing your brain the true rest it needs to reset. Alcohol is another common disruptor. Many believe a glass of wine or a nightcap helps them fall asleep faster, and while that may be true initially, alcohol interferes heavily with your sleep cycles. It suppresses REM sleep, the stage where dreams happen, where memories are organized, and emotions are processed. Alcohol can cause frequent wake-ups during the night, and leave the brain dehydrated, inflamed and chemically imbalanced by morning. Over time, this pattern affects memory, decision-making, and mood regulation. What feels like a harmless evening habit may in fact be reducing your brain's resilience and longevity without you realizing it. Heavy meals before bed also place unnecessary strain on your system. When you eat late, especially greasy, spicy, or rich foods, your digestive system is forced to stay active during a time it should be winding down. This diverts energy and blood flow away from the brain and toward the stomach, reducing the efficiency of sleep-related brain function. You may experience bloating, indigestion, or even increased heart rate as your body tries to digest instead of rest. Meanwhile, your brain struggles to enter deeper sleep stages and misses its window for repair. This can leave you mentally sluggish the next day, with slower reaction times, poor focus, and increased irritability. Doctors often recommend finishing your last meal 2 to 3 hours before bed, to give your body time to process food and prepare fully for sleep. Even more subtle, yet equally powerful, is the effect of light, especially artificial light from screens, overhead bulbs, or digital devices. Light controls your circadian rhythm, the internal body clock that tells your brain when to sleep and wake up. In natural conditions, this rhythm follows the sun. As darkness falls, your body produces melatonin, the hormone that prepares your brain for sleep. But when you expose yourself to bright lights, especially blue light from phones and tablets, melatonin production is suppressed. Your brain stays in a state of artificial wakefulness. You might not feel tired when you should, and when you finally sleep, it's often lighter, more fragmented, and less restorative. Noise plays a similar role. While you might get used to the hum of traffic, the buzz of electronics, or the sound of a television in the background, your brain doesn't. Even when you're unconscious, your brain remains aware of sound. Background noise can increase nighttime arousals, interrupt sleep cycles, and reduce the amount of time your brain spends in deep sleep. This kind of shallow sleep is not enough for proper neural repair, emotional processing, or memory consolidation. Over time, it adds up. The impact is subtle but real: slower thinking, weaker concentration, and higher stress levels. Temperature and air quality are often overlooked, but critical components of a brain-friendly sleep environment. Your body naturally cools down as you prepare for sleep, and a room that is too warm can disrupt this process, causing you to wake up frequently, or preventing you from reaching deep sleep stages. Doctors recommend keeping your bedroom cool, quiet, and dark, ideally around 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Meanwhile, poor air circulation or stuffy rooms can reduce oxygen levels, making your brain work harder through the night. Simple adjustments like using a fan, an air purifier, or opening a window slightly can make a significant difference. Even the scent of your room can affect how deeply you sleep. Certain calming scents like lavender, chamomile, or sandalwood have been shown to promote relaxation and reduce anxiety before bed, helping the brain transition into a calmer, more restful state. Incorporating essential oils or a natural linen spray into your routine can enhance your brain's readiness for sleep and improve the depth of your rest. In the end, the brain is highly sensitive to the environment it sleeps in and the substances it interacts with before bedtime. Everything you eat, drink, see, hear, and even smell sends chemical messages that influence whether your brain gets the full rest and restoration it needs. Creating the right conditions isn't about perfection, it's about intention. Choosing calming light, limiting stimulating substances, and avoiding heavy meals or screens before bed are simple but powerful decisions that protect your cognitive health. Night after night, these choices allow your brain to detoxify, recharge, and build strength for the day ahead. In a world that constantly pushes you to stay alert, productive, and connected, making time to support your brain's recovery is one of the wisest and most protective acts of self-care you can practice. Your brain is like a high-performance engine. It requires the right fuel, care, and rest to keep functioning at its best. And surprisingly, two of the most underrated yet powerful habits to protect and strengthen your brain aren't found in pills or high-tech devices. They're found in something as simple as gratitude and consistency. These two habits, when practiced daily, especially before sleep, have a profound impact on your brain's chemistry, structure, and long-term health. While it may seem small, the simple act of reflecting on what you're thankful for can reshape the way your brain processes emotions, while sticking to a consistent sleep routine helps regulate critical biological systems that directly influence memory, mood, and mental clarity. Let's start with gratitude. Science has proven that when you practice gratitude, when you intentionally take a moment to recognize the good things in your life, you activate parts of the brain linked to dopamine and serotonin, the feel-good neurotransmitter. These chemicals play a key role in how you experience pleasure, satisfaction, and motivation. When you feel grateful, your brain releases a gentle wave of these chemicals, creating a natural calm and positivity that eases tension and reduces mental clutter. This becomes especially valuable at night when your brain needs to transition from a stimulated state into a restful one. Instead of going to bed worrying about what went wrong, gratitude guides your thoughts toward what went right, allowing your nervous system to relax, your thoughts to slow, and your heart rate to drop. Over time, this nightly habit reconditions the brain to find peace and contentment more easily, even during challenging times. In fact, studies using brain imaging have shown that people who regularly practice gratitude have stronger activity in the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for decision-making, focus, and emotional regulation. This means they're not only more emotionally stable, but also more mentally resilient. They're better at handling stress, less likely to fall into anxiety loops, and more capable of positive thinking. All of these traits directly support brain health and can even slow down cognitive decline with age. What's even more remarkable is that the effects of gratitude are cumulative. The more consistently you do it, the more your brain strengthens these positive neural pathways, like exercising a muscle. One small thought of appreciation before bed might not seem like much, but repeated over days, weeks, and years, it creates a lasting impact that medicine alone can't provide. Now combine that power with the second habit: consistency. The brain thrives on routine. Your internal clock, also known as the circadian rhythm, regulates your sleep-wake cycle, body temperature, hormone release, and even mood pattern. When you go to sleep and wake up at the same time every day, this internal clock stays in sync. Your brain knows exactly when to start producing melatonin, the hormone that signals it's time to rest, and when to activate cortisol to help you wake up and feel alert. But when your sleep schedule is inconsistent, staying up late some nights, waking up early others, it throws your entire system into confusion. Melatonin gets delayed, cortisol spikes at the wrong times, and your brain's ability to repair itself during sleep is compromised. Sleep is when your brain performs essential maintenance. It clears out toxins through the glymphatic system, a kind of brain rinse that happens almost exclusively during deep sleep. This process reduces inflammation and protects against neurodegenerative diseases. It also solidifies memories, balances mood-regulating hormones, and refreshes your ability to concentrate and solve problems the next day. But all of this depends on consistency. If your brain doesn't know when it's supposed to rest, these processes become inefficient. It's like starting a repair job without knowing when the tools will arrive. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. You don't have to fall asleep at exactly 10 p.m. every night. What matters is giving your brain a predictable pattern. Even a 30-minute window can work wonders. When your body and brain expect rest, they begin to prepare in advance. Your body cools down, your heart rate slows, and your mind starts winding down. Over time, this strengthens your sleep quality, enhances mental sharpness, and improves emotional balance. It becomes easier to think clearly, remember important details, and stay calm under pressure. When gratitude and consistency are combined, their effects multiply. Think about it. Ending your day at a consistent time with a short moment of gratitude not only soothes your emotions, but also reinforces a predictable mental rhythm. Your brain comes to associate this time with safety, reflection, and rest. This pairing becomes a powerful cue that signals the day is done, you're safe, and it's time to heal. It's a simple ritual, yet one of the most powerful brain-supporting tools you'll ever practice. And the best part, it's completely natural. No medication, no equipment, just your attention and a willingness to show up for your brain each night. Whether you write in a journal, say a silent thank you, or reflect on a positive moment before bed, you're not just ending your day, you're building a stronger, more resilient brain for the future. The habit may take just 5 minutes, but the benefits echo across your entire life.